Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me tonight on a Monday night, a very rare Monday night recording, but there were several things that led to this Monday night recording. One was it was just impossible for me to record today when I said that we would record, and then I thought it'd be better just to wait until after the preseason game to record anyways. And that was the right move because we got to see the Thunder play the Spurs and they looked incredible in spurts. With me, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Yeah, we're back. I mean, there is actual basketball to be discussed, which is insanely fun. Yeah, it's almost never on a Tuesday morning for me. Like it's a very weird time. But hey, it's good. It's a good way to start off your day. And by the way, just to put you on the spot immediately, we need to make a friendship test. Like how well Andrew knows Michele. This is the test. So there was a moment where I loudly giggled when something happened on the court, and you have to tell me the moment of the game. It was not one possession, which is helping you out a little bit, but it was a moment of the game when I started giggling and I couldn't control myself. And you have to tell me who was on the court.
Oh, interesting. I feel like there's a lot of paths we could go through because I felt there were a lot of giggly moments in this game, I would say. I mean, it's hard for it to not include Isaiah Hartenstein.
I will not give you a hint if it's true or not. You have to go.
Okay. I'll stick with Isaiah Hartenstein and Caruso. I don't know if it was the moment where Hartenstein threw that pass over his shoulder to that little midi from Caruso that he just splashed.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot curse, but that this will be the moment. It is the exact moment. Okay, it is. It's actually yes. I mean, as soon as Hartenstein, Caruso, and Chet were on the court together, and those things started to happen, I couldn't control myself. That unit was like so good in general. I mean, defensively, they were just insane, completely insane. And the passing of Hartenstein was something different. Yeah, it was beautiful. That was the moment of the game for me, and also like the ridiculous end up of the first half by J-Dub, which was another giggly moment. But the first one was better for me because I mean I had in my head this lineup working seamlessly, and I mean it did. So nice, very nice.
Yeah, and the first time that we have ever seen it, you know. I didn't think it was going to take like a whole lot of time to rev up that engine, but boy, they looked good right away. I mean, you look at these guys' stat lines, and they are almost perfection.
Yeah,
and it's obviously neither of them. They didn't even combine for double-digit scoring, but Hartenstein 4 points, 8 boards, 7 assists, a steal and a block. Just unbelievable. Caruso 5 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, a steal and a block, and just affecting so many plays on both ends for both of them.
Yeah,
where it was defensively, it is going to be so hard to score against this team. Offensively, they're gonna find a good shot. Like they're gonna hunt and find the good shot. There's like hardly any chuckers on this team at all.
Yeah.
There's just like the only guys you could say that are at least that played tonight are stars, you know, in like J-Dub. Like J-Dub took
Dylan Jones a star.
Oh, we can get to Dylan Jones in a little bit. There are these. There's moments in preseason. I watched a lot of the I watched every game tonight, and there are just moments where you hit like the mid third quarter, and you're like, and now we're not playing NBA basketball anymore. You know, and it happens in every single preseason game. And so I feel like it's I feel like we almost need to talk about these games as if they were two different games that happened. You know, you got to see some of like the main guys that you're going to see throughout the entire season. And not to say that like we won't see Dylan Jones when it matters. I think that we will. I think that will happen in moments. But we all know like when it comes down to it, like the guys that truly are going to get these minutes. But yeah, I was so excited when those guys came off the bench, though. When they came off the bench, it looked good. And honestly, like they looked a little sluggish to start the game, but like started to get into a groove. And I thought Case Wallace looked great. I thought Wiggs looked great. I thought J-Dub obviously was awesome. Chet, holy smokes. Chet looked like Kevin Durant tonight. Driving the basket. I'm not even joking. Not even a joke. Like he looked like if Kevin Durant was transported to this time at, in his early 20s and he was a big man, like that's what he looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, he's driving the ball. I mean, he was 5 for 5, 10 points, a board, a steal, 2 blocks. He kind of was holding his groin a lot. I don't know what was going on there. I didn't ever see any reports or anything about any injury or anything like that for Chet. He was, on the bench and everything after he got it checked out. I think he's probably fine. But Chet was dominant.
Yeah.
In the 9 minutes that he played. Absolutely dominant. And I think it's just kind of the tip of the iceberg because like he didn't even shoot a 3. He didn't get to the free throw line. He was just like, I'm going to drive and I'm going to get past you because I'm quicker, I'm more skilled, and I'm going to finish anything I want around the rim. And that was very impressive. Obviously, like the thing that sticks out to me and to probably most people that watched is the DHO that happened between Chet and Hartenstein, where it's like 7-footer to 7-footer to DHO, where it's just like kind of like breaks your brain that this is even happening kind of stuff. It was really, really fun to watch. And you just look up and down the roster and you're like, man, everybody but Oos was awesome in the starting lineup. Dylan Jones looks good. Caruso looks good. Hartenstein looks great. Isaiah Joe is Isaiah Joe. AJ Mitchell, who we'll talk about, actually led the team in scoring tonight. There was just so many guys that are just so impressive in so many ways that it just feels like an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would say that Wiggs had a great game. I mean, he missed a ton of bunnies down there, but it was also a game where OKC barely got called for any. Not got called. The Spurs barely got any fouls. I mean, they went to the line 20 times. OKC just 5, and mainly for, I think, bonus stuff. Not really anything that happened on the drive, which was a little bit weird, to be honest with you. I mean, there were a lot of contacts, not that in preseason is of any relevance, and it's also kind of a lot of variance. I mean, I've seen Wiggs making tougher layups than the one that he missed tonight, but the purpose of Wiggs was really good. I mean, I really want to see him taking a little bit more of shots, which Daigneault addressed during training camp. So I think that starting unit was a little bit weird. I fully expected either Caruso or Hartenstein to be there, but I like the fact that both came off the bench and played basically every single minute together. This is something that for me works. They just have to play together, and if this is what they want to do, starting maybe a guy like Aaron Wiggins that spaces the court a little bit better with Shea and Lou Dort, that can also be a way to maximize the power of this team. I think that we are accustomed to have in the starting unit the 5 best player of the team. It's not necessarily what you want to have. I mean, the Iguodala Warriors, Iggy was not starting. Iggy was the change of pace guy off the bench. Manu. I mean, there are a lot of great teams even, that don't start their best 5 guys because it makes sense to have a more balanced way to play. And I think that it was apparent immediately as soon as those 2 guys were on the court, the team was just working, and not working just offensively. Defensively, I mean, Caruso was toying with the Spurs. I mean, he could have had I don't know how many steals tonight. We just had to play a little bit more aggressive, which clearly it's not the point of preseason. And so was Case and Wallace. I mean, Wallace had 2-3 possessions where he actually put pressure. As soon as Caruso came into the game, they had this 2-3 minutes of, hey, now we are shutting all the things down, and it happened. And I think that this is the most important thing that I took away from this game is when this team pushes the pedal defensively, things can be so fun. I mean, it's again, there was not Lou Dort in the court. There was no Shea. Clearly, on the other end, Wembanyama was not playing. Vassell wasn't playing. Chris Paul. So it was not even the Spurs.
Yeah.
But in those moments against second units, that lineup is actually a lineup that can be on the court. So it's not like that can be the second unit that plays most nights, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm just reading like nothing into any rotations or lineups or anything like that happens tonight. I almost feel like we got trolled a little bit. Just being honest, I feel like we got trolled a little bit here.
With Usmu Ding starting?
Yeah, I mean, it was just the whole thing. It was J-Dub and Chet, no surprise. And then it's Case and Wallace, Wiggins, and Jang, where you're missing 2 starters in Shea and Lou. Like, yeah, you could say, like, okay, I would expect... I was expecting Caruso to start. If I were to project the actual starting lineup, I would have projected Caruso to start. But perhaps they just start Case and Wallace in place of Josh Giddey or Isaiah Joe or Aaron Wiggins or somebody. I mean, it's certainly not off the table. I think that they can go whatever direction they want. I still kind of lean that they'll go with Caruso, but they have options. They clearly have options. I mean, Hartenstein too. Like, they have options.
Yeah, sure. Briefly, and I don't know what I want to do about Ousmane Dieng, but it was
nothing
between atrocious and terrible. Just pick something that is in between. Not for the starting minutes; those were just meaningless. But the point is, he couldn't create anything against the Spurs G League team. Basically, he was by far the worst player, Dukas included, in the all G League lineup that we saw at the end of the game. Again, it's one game, but come on. I mean, Dylan Jones and AJ Mitchell looked like stars in preseason, which again doesn't mean anything. Pokusevski in his first game as a Thunder, I think he scored 20 points, nailing 4 threes. So preseason does not correlate with anything. But this performance was so bad, like so bad. There was nothing that made me say, huh. I mean, and not that I believe that Dylan Jones will have this percentage from the mid-range, nor that AJ Mitchell could score at will at the rim against NBA talent. This is something that happened. Nice, very nice, but not correlating that to anything. The point is, there is nothing to correlate with Ousmane Dieng. And it's I mean, I don't know.
It's more about like instinct to me. You like watch the instincts of both Dylan Jones and AJ Mitchell as basketball players, and you just see the intent that they play with, and you say, "Oh, that works." And it worked to a very high level tonight, in that they're making shots, and some of these there will be nights where they won't go in, but it's all the other things that they're doing. It's placement on the court, style of play, rhythm within the offense. It's Dylan Jones, threading the needle with a pass. It's his using his connectiveness. It's all of that makes you think, oh, yeah, I can see why this would work. And it's not guaranteed to work, but you can see why. With Oos, it's like, man, I can't even see how this will work. Like, honestly, like there's just not quite as much to work with, and he's extremely skilled. But
even that, Andrew, extremely skilled. Where he couldn't dribble.
I know. In transition, he's extremely skilled until he gets within 5 feet of the basket, and then it all goes out the window.
So are you saying he's skilled? I mean, again, I don't want to push too hard on this because it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, we don't need to.
But again, I mean, even the skill part, which was one of the main selling point, if a guy like Sissoko, which is a borderline NBA center, can stop you in transition with ease, you can't even get past him. Like, I don't get even the skill part.
That's what I'm talking about, like the instinct though. Where with AJ and with Dylan, you saw with both of those guys that they've got, there's something there.
Yeah.
And whether it actually works or not, who knows? This is not. I don't think you can look at one preseason game and tell anything about anybody. But I just don't. But I can say, like, I feel like they have, like, there's a lot to work with those two. And AJ Mitchell's specifically something that stands out with this team is just his ability to handle the basketball.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of guys on this team that can handle the basketball at a high level. And I think AJ Mitchell's one of the guys that can. And I wonder if there are going to be pockets in the regular season, especially if they are down one guard, where he just slides in and they call him up from the G, or however they're going to use him and let him play a little bit. That would not surprise me. Dylan Jones has a guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
He's on the team. He will spend probably some time with the G League. That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But early on in the season, there's no G League. And so he's going to be with the Thunder. And I think that they will take advantage of that time with him. And I just like the way that he passes. I like the way that he moves in transition himself. I'm interested to see what he looks like as a team defender against a good basketball team.
Yeah.
Because what we saw tonight was not that. But there's a lot to work with Dylan Jones. I mean, 17 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. I mean, he played great. He made his 1-3 that he took. And AJ Mitchell, man, I was thoroughly impressed with his game. There's a lot to like there with AJ Mitchell. 19 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, and a steal. I don't know where he plays, especially when this team is fully healthy, but he's somebody, and this has happened several times with the Thunder roster, is he's going to come knocking, and they're going to have to answer and let him play at some point. Like, I believe that he has what it takes to be a pro, and you hope that it happens here in OKC, because he's a really impressive player.
Yeah, he is. By the way, I said that Sissoko is a center. Clearly mistaken here. He plays
CD?
like a big. Yeah. Great, babe, in the chat. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I mean, he is listed as a guard forward. I think that he lacks the skill to play in that role, but yes, he's not a center. Anyhow, back on AJ Mitchell. I mean, his first preseason game is a continuation of Summer League. For me, I mean, the thing that I saw in Summer League were there tonight. He is an extremely bright player. You can see that he reads the floor extremely well. I mean, I'm not throwing comparison here, but there was a a single possession that he reminded me of something that I saw in college from Derek White, where he basically had the ball at in the right corner. He just gave it back, make a fake, the defender bite, and then he was darting towards the rim, got the ball back. These sort of plays, they are, I think, cerebral plays and instinct play at the same time, where you actually are the ball ender, but you move also without the ball. These are plays where you can really see that he reads the floor extremely well, and he has good ends. I mean, this helps.
Yep.
This helps because he can shoot it, he can pass it. He's a guy that really plays well. On defense, this is the question for me. I mean, because he's not tall, he doesn't have positional size, and I mean, it's adequate, 6'3". It's nothing like crazy for a guard, though. So if he can stay on the court defensively, which is a big if right now, I think he can be a positive player. For Dillon Jones, it was completely different in terms of the results on offense from preseason, because the shots that he took tonight were not dramatically different from the one that he took in summer league. Those went in, which is good. Defensively, though, I seen him a little bit better, especially on team defense, as you mentioned. I mean, he was positioning himself 3 or 4 times to take a charge. I think he got one. He was generally more involved into defense, which is good to see for him. That needs to be one of the calling cards for Dillon Jones, because offensively he will improve as a passer. I mean, he had a few reads that were great reads, but the execution was not on point. One specifically, he had a very nice drive, and then he threw the ball a little bit too high to Isaiah Joe in the corner. I mean, had the ball placed a little bit better, that was going to be a 3 for Isaiah Joe, because the read was perfect. The execution was not. So I really think that with both players, as you mentioned, there is a lot to work with. And does it have to work? No. I mean, if it works, it's great. If it doesn't, then basically, who cares? These are stuff that I think OKC will have time to work on, because again, there will be nights where Shea doesn't play, or where Jalen Williams doesn't play, and those two guys can have a run, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then they can have a run, like an extended run on the G League, which is as it should be, I think.
Let's take a quick break, and then let's answer the question. Is this the deepest Thunder team ever? We'll be right back. And we're back after that quick break. You know, it's one preseason game, so you don't want to get too over your skis about any of this stuff. And I think when you kind of look back at some other Thunder teams, I think that we were probably way over our skis with the depth of the roster overall, and kind of the feelings that we had for some of the younger players that were on the roster. I think back to when we think about like the deepest Thunder team ever, I think back to like the 2012 team is one that I think back to, where you had guys like Cole Aldrich on the bench who had played a year. You had a rookie Reggie Jackson on the bench. I think about those guys that were sitting there. I think about even that next year, the 13 team that had Perry Jones and Jeremy Lamb on that team with Reggie Jackson. This might be what I would consider the deepest team. Is this 2012-2013 team, where it will feel similar because the Thunder have these guys at the end of the bench that are rookies. And it's even a little bit different because they didn't have this like red shirt lottery pick sitting on the bench either, like the Thunder do. But they had Perry Jones, Jeremy Lamb, Reggie Jackson. You still had Eric Maynor on that team. And then you had Serge, Westbrook, KD, Cephalosha, Kevin Martin, Perk, Derek Fisher, Nick Collison. You had like your steady like stars, and then you also had great role players, but then you had the Thunder, Thunder U at the end of the bench still, and the Thunder have that going on right now, except for like the whole team is young. Like you hardly had any vets at all.
Yeah.
On this current team, and they still have like lottery picks that are incoming as well. And so it's probably a little premature to even be able to answer this question, but I think that we saw a glimmer of perhaps why this might be the deepest Thunder team they've ever had.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
I mean, let's start from the 2012, 2013 roster.
Yep.
You tell me if you would have started this guy if you're not on the Thunder. For sure. Maybe no. Ronnie Brewer.
No.
Nick Collison.
Started them? What do you mean? Okay, explain more what you mean.
Starting. Would you start that guy?
Today or then?
Then.
No, I wouldn't start Nick Collison then.
Okay. Definitely not. Not even a maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's talented.
Okay. Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Derek Fisher.
No.
Serge Ibaka.
Yes.
Reggie.
Not at that time, no.
I'd say there will be teams where he could have started maybe. So it's another
year
maybe
two?
for me. Yeah.
What did Reggie do in year two?
Not a lot.
Yeah.
So let's say maybe half a point there. So we're at 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Perry Jones, absolutely no. I will not allow you to say anything different.
No.
Jeremy Lamb?
No.
DeAndre Liggins? No. Kevin Martin?
Yes.
That's a yes. Daniel Orton?
No.
Kendrick Perkins?
Yes.
Yes, he was starting. Tabo?
Yes.
Russell Westbrook?
Yes.
7. So 6 starters and 2 maybe.
Okay.
And the end of the bench guys were unproven. So the one that we said no, except for Eric Maynor maybe, which was traded during that season, is a collection of guys where, yes, they could bring something off the bench, but those were not like for sure like contributors.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, those were like garbage time contributors.
Yeah,
their seasons like barely existed if cleaning the glass was where you're looking.
Exactly. Let's play the game with this year's team. Isaiah Joe.
He started in the playoffs last year, so
I think he's a maybe because he would not definitely start on every team, but there will be teams in which he can start.
Yeah.
So half a point. Aaron Wiggins.
He's another maybe.
Half a point. Isaiah Hartenstein.
Starter.
That's a yes. He could start in, I think, half of the league.
Yeah.
Maybe not half, but 30% of the league.
Yeah.
Dylan Jones. That's a no.
No.
Topic will not play, so we'll just skip him. AJ Mitchell is a no. Shea.
Yes.
Kaysen.
Honestly, yes. I think he starts on a lot of teams.
Okay. Kenrich Williams.
No.
Jalen Williams.
As much as I love K-Rich.
J. Will.
Which one? J. Will? No. No.
Logan Dort.
Yes.
Usman Jang. Usmuding.
Usmuding, sadly, no.
Chad Holmgren.
Yes.
J-Dub.
Yeah.
Alex Caruso.
Yes.
We are at 8. So two. So it's pretty close. But I think that this team has at least that quality of a roster. And I think that this team has 7 real starters, like real, where they would start on basically half of the league.
Yeah.
So it's and again, the guys who we did not consider for a minute, like Henrich Williams, for example, they would actually be on a rotation on most teams, which Kenrich Williams can be your Derek Fisher if you want.
Yeah.
So it's the marginal value that guys like Lamb and Perry Jones could bring compared to Jay Will and maybe, I don't know who we left off this list entirely, and the rookies that they could bring. Yeah, Dukas. I mean, Dukas had 4 very nice vertical defenses that show you how bad the Spurs was. Aware, because I mean, he was able to basically disrupt everything, and so
he also just got yammed on by Steph Castle.
Yeah, Steph Castle was okay. Nothing too shiny.
He really wasn't that good.
Yeah, it was okay.
He had a really nice dunk. He had a few nice moments, but I mean, in 19 minutes, he had 6 turnovers.
Yeah.
You know, his largest stat of the night, besides minutes played, was turnovers. You know, it was not a great night for Steph Castle. And I like him. Like, if you've followed any of our draft coverage at all, like I'm a big Steph Castle believer, but he did not look good. And a lot of it was in some of the minutes that he played, he had a guy like Alex Caruso on him. You know what he could do on the offensive end with Alex Caruso on him? Nothing. It was he was just completely shut down. Like, once he entered the paint and he tried to get a switch on him, and then he realized that Alex Caruso is still there on his hip. It's like, sorry, dude, you will accomplish nothing right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, I think this Thunder team does have a chance to be the deepest Thunder team in the history of the franchise, which is still a young franchise, by the way. It's kind of cool, like, when you just, like, really stop and think about it. You know, you think about all these, like, the history of all these, like, big time franchises. Someday, the Thunder are going to have a very long history. Like, that will, but it's still young. Like, 17 years in the league is nothing compared to a lot of teams. So it's just kind of cool to be a fan of a team that is still this young. But yeah, I think this team and also, like, the amount of good players that have been through this team already in 17 years, and to call this the deepest version of it is pretty wild.
Yeah.
But it feels early, and it is probably too early to declare anything like that. But man, it's there were some impressive things tonight, even if it is in just one preseason game.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that Cormac Ryan spent exactly 25 seconds before he took a shot, just to dedicate that to Ryan Stiles.
Shout out. That was awesome.
Yeah. That was another moment where I actually laughed, not giggled. I said, "That's for you, Rylan. That is definitely for you." I mean, that guy doesn't lack confidence. Which I mean, it's a part of being an NBA or a professional athlete. You need to have outstanding confidence. What else? Let's talk about J-Dub for a second. I mean, I really like the idea of, hey, if I'm mildly open, I will just take a 3 because this is what coach wants me to do, and it actually works.
Yeah, it definitely works. 3 out of 4 in 17 minutes. If you extrapolate that out to 30 minutes, I think he's taking the right amount of threes.
Yeah, that was a good distribution. And again, J-Dub had a few bunnies that missed here and there for weird reasons, mainly because it's game one, I think. But the shot was spot on. And the fact that he took more threes than his very nice, very effective floating jumpers that he takes, it's
Yeah.
it's a sign. I think that shot will and has to be part of the diet because he's extremely efficient at it. But I mean, the threes are just changing the complexion of the game. As soon as J-Dub is not guarded, he should let it fly. He should punish the defense as soon as you are not guarded, because this is how you really stretch it. If defenses know that they can have a few seconds, it's not a few seconds, but at least 1 second to close out because you are thinking about it, then then it changes in a bad way. If you are really deliberate with your trees, and it's as soon as you touch your hands, if you're open, you take it, then the defense really needs to pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. Dub, I'm trying to even see. I think he scored all of the points from the 3:10 mark all the way to halftime. So let's see, let me go back even further. Yeah. Okay. So at the 3:10 mark in the second quarter, he had a dunk pass from Isaiah Hartenstein. Then at the 2:21 mark, he made a driving floater to that's 4 points. Then he made a 3. That's 7 points. Then he made another 3. That's 10 points. Then he made a pull-up 15-footer. That was an and one that was just so sick, and he's falling on the ground and everything. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean, he closed the quarter in just such dramatic fashion, and it started at the 3:33 mark, but like the chaos of it kind of existed all within the last minute of the quarter, which is like, are you serious? Is he seriously doing this?
Yeah.
He absolutely took over that moment, and it felt a little bit like it to me, like he knew that, hey, I'm not getting back in this game, so this is my chance to make a mark on it, and he absolutely just erupted.
Yeah.
And it's those moments that make you think, wow, there are, and you saw it with Chet too in this game, and we've seen it with Shea consistently over the last several years, is like, there are 3 stars. Like, there are 3 superstars in the making on this team. And they were the number 1 seed last year. They got to the second round, almost past the second round last year, if not for PJ Washington's antics.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just barely scratching the surface of what they can be.
Yeah.
And we're going to see there are going to be some moments this season where Thunder fans, like, all this hype that's been happening over the offseason, I haven't really been trying to temper it all that much.
You don't say.
Because I don't know that I can. Because I don't know that you should, honestly.
Well, and anything can happen on an NBA season, but I mean, if we look at the team right now, and you see, I mean, in a night where I don't feel that J-Dub played, like, overall a very efficient night for him, but you look, he took 14 shots.
Yeah.
And he scored 18 points. That is with no turnovers. That is extremely good efficiency.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. And again, he missed stuff that I would not bet he would miss for the entire season. I mean, this is a night where, in a normal night, J-Dub goes 10 out of 14 and scores 23 points. And again, this was against one of the worst team in the league, not even the best version of it. So
the opponent very much matters in all of this. It's like, this is not, I'm not making a judgment off of one preseason game. I just think that, like, this team is going to be incredible. Like, I just think they are, period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the opponent is that they play. Now, I would love to see them play a great opponent. You won't during the preseason.
No, even if it's a good team.
Even if yes, exactly. Even if it's a good team, you're not getting their best shot. Now, I cannot wait to see them play Denver. I cannot wait to see them play Denver. But
yeah, do you think that the Ignite tanked the game so that they didn't look so great, like putting Usman Jing there? I mean, imagine if they started like a functional unit. I mean, that
I already told you I thought we were getting trolled a little bit. So
yeah,
I think you know my answer to that.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? I mean, yeah, we can go on and talk about chat like for 2 hours. I think
I know.
it was fun. Another thing that I really liked, and I know that we already touched on it, it was Kaysen Wallace randomly taking a pull-up three just to make it and say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm extremely good at basketball. Let me show it to you. Just a sec." That is something that I really liked as well. I mean, Kaysen was Kaysen, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and he had a really nice finish around the hoop too. I mean, there's a lot to like here.
Yeah,
it's very exciting, and it just you think all summer, and we've done this before many times, and sometimes it's worked and sometimes it hasn't. In some cases, like with Carmelo Anthony and Patrick Patterson, I think that we use our basketball imaginations to make up what we thought was going to be this incredible roster. Two Pat's the perfect version. We get the Olympic Melo. We're going to just crush everybody.
Yeah.
Neither one of them worked.
Yeah.
But we've been using our basketball imaginations all summer to think about Hartenstein and Caruso. And in this instance, I would just be floored if it didn't. Maybe it won't work as like perfectly as it did a lot of times tonight, all the time. But I just have a hard time believing that it's just not going to work with those two. I mean, they fit this team in every way that you could want. I think personality wise, they're perfect for this team. I think their defensive and offensive instincts match what they want to do. It was just on full display tonight.
Yeah. I'm not sure we'll have a hard time. I'm sure we'll have a hard time this year. Like a lot of, I mean, that pass was just
it was so much fun. It was just so much fun watching them play, just because it was, and it's a lot of it is just kind of what Presti has wanted. It's like, let's play with less pattern and more rhythm. And you saw it with those two and the way that they were playing the game. They were playing it like I've been saying, they added a pretty sweet bass player and Isaiah Hartenstein to this group, and they just look really good. So I'm excited. And they have a couple more games. They have back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday, which is just kind of strange for preseason, but home on Wednesday and then in Tulsa on Thursday. So I think I'm going to be at the Tulsa game. So if we got any Tulsa Dunkers up there, be sure to come say hello. I will have some Down to Dunk stickers with me in Tulsa. So be sure to come say hello. Would love to see all the Tulsa Dunkers. Be sure that you get your tickets to Down to Dunk Night. I believe that we are like very close, if not already surpassed the amount of tickets that will get you on the court. So if you want to do that still, please get your tickets today. Like, get them right now if you want to get down on the court with us. Okay, I've got to go because I still got work to do, and I'm like dog tired, Kelly. If you can't tell, I feel like I'm 70%.
No, you look
here
fresh like a rose. Is this a say in American?
Sure.
We say it in Italy a lot, like when you like fresh like a rose, like when you look like
a rose. I don't know. Yeah. Said that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go now. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Thanks so much for staying up late with us, or maybe you're up early with us. I don't know where you're at, but we appreciate you guys joining us on the stream. Lots of people on the stream, lots of hype for this season. We're going to be with you guys every step of the way. So be sure that you're subscribed. Hey, I dropped a fun video on YouTube today. It is the Impossible Thunder Spelling Bee. And I just want to give a shout out to my oldest son, Asher. That was his idea. And the players thought it was really fun. I feel like the idea overall was a great one. And I was really excited to execute it, knowing that my son had the idea. So shout out to Asher for that great idea. And shout out to you guys for listening. We should just, if you would share that video with people, share the YouTube link with people, I would appreciate that quite a bit. So I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, rest of your night, or whenever you're listening to this. And we'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.